Well, hello there, YouTube, and welcome back to the Street Glide special for the first time in 52 days. That's freaking 7 weeks. Man, this may not be a very smart idea here, because any or all of this could be frozen. I'm thinking about swinging over the mountain here and going to a place, but wow, this might be really stupid. I've never ridden this thing in any kind of icy conditions, so we'll take it easy. But yeah, the old Street Glide almost feels funny to ride her. It's weird. I've had it covered up all this time, and it was weird pulling the cover off. And as soon as I pulled the cover off, the first thing I discovered is like, what in the crap? I'm trying to figure out what's all over it. Oh, look at that bridge. Ooh, that could be frozen. And I still got more of this hill to go up. This might be a really stupid idea. Never ridden this thing in ice before, you know, so I mean, bikes will do what bikes do, but every bike kind of has its personality. Oh, look at that, that's frozen right there. But you know, you just don't have any sense of what it's going to do. Especially the bigger the bike gets, the more unpredictable they are, which I've kind of been saying that about this thing since I got it, and it's yet to do anything to spook me. Wow, this is really stupid. Look at this. This is absolutely frozen. Oh man, all it'd take is hitting one of those ruts in that the right way and you're a goner. Man, I mean, oh, perfect. Let's get some sun in my face. This is gonna be the peak of the hill right here. Kind of gauge how everybody's driving here. If they're driving, you don't seem to be driving overly slow, but you know, there are 4 wheels too. But yeah, look at this, New Year's Eve 2015, and I got to ride on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. I could have rode on Christmas Day as well, but I was gone the entire day. But I'm having no plans to go anywhere tomorrow, so maybe we'll do a January 1st ride on something, this or whatever I think of. Oh man, is it stunningly beautiful out here. Oh Christ, that is incredible. I'm always disappointed. I come back and I watch the footage, and you know, because the human eye has so much, you know, our ability to see all light sources, you know, for the most part. Our depth of field and our dynamic range is so vast, and you know, the camera, especially a sports camera, it always, you know, either something's blown out or underexposed, or the color's not as I seen it. And in all fairness, I do shoot Pro Tune now all the time, so I do have the ability to adjust it. But man, that just makes a processing nightmare. It's amazing any alteration you do on a video, how, you know, because my editor, if even when I use mixed cameras, at the most it'll take about half hour, 40 minutes, and that's, you know, Hero 4 Session with its lower bit rate, the G7X, and then the, you know, like, I don't know what this thing, I think at 1080p the GoPro somewhere around 50-55 megabits per second is its bit rate. And so anyway, you get a bunch of mixed things, and then inevitably you throw something in that's at 30 frames a second mixed in with your, I shoot mostly 60 frames now, 60 frames per second. But anyway, you mix those up, and that creates more processing for the editor, and that slows it way down. But if I use one camera, like this vlog, obviously I'm probably not going to throw anything else in there because the only thing I have on me is my phone. But look at this hill, can be nice and frozen. Let's take the old Finkler Road in the snow. How smart is this? But if the camera doesn't blow it out, there's Mount Rainier, all nice and covered in snow out there. Beautiful day. Man, I've been sitting around waiting for that temperature to come up and thinking, man, it's got to kick here pretty soon. It just never did. It finally made it. It bumped up into 35, and that was a little bit after 2. I thought, man, you know, short as the days are now, I need to roll now, because 2 o'clock is usually the peak temperature this time of year. You know, like in the summer, you know, wow, not sure, but I think I just slipped a little bit. That just could have been me. Look at that. That is completely frozen. I haven't slipped at all yet that I'm aware of. It bit. If you touch the throttle and she immediately lights off, you know you're in trouble. Anyway, before I got distracted there, I was talking about cameras. Like if I use this is the Hero 4 Silver, and I'm hooked up to the dual Drift Ghost external mics. They're mono mics, so I've got one in each cheek, and then I got a splitter down by where the GoPro's mounted to the helmet, where it takes 2 monos and sends one to the left channel and one to the right channel. And I noticed you can't tell that much of a difference when you're watching the videos. I don't know if YouTube kind of degrades the audio a little bit maybe, but when I'm editing, especially if you mix cameras where something's mono and something's stereo, it's amazing the stereo effect that these mics produce, especially if there's any kind of loud sound, like a passing car or other bike, or any kind of loud sounds that is directional, you know, onto one side of me or the other. You really notice the stereo effect then. But for the most part, it just kind of gives it more of a live, you're really riding along with me kind of feeling. So, what do we do from here? Because if I go west, obviously the sun's gonna be blazing us in the face. Maybe I'll drive out that way a little bit and come back on. Oh, of course, I forgot the way the remote sits on this bike. I can't see it. Oh, look at them leaves all froze up. That could be danger. Oh, geez. Now that was a slip. That was a full-on slip. Frozen leaves are not cool. All right, so well, let me bounce up from this car. Whoa. I'm trying to think of a cool route we can take here. All right, we'll come up with something here. So I'm going to bounce out for right now so the sun's not in your face. So we'll talk to you in a bit. At the risk of none of this coming out because of the sun pretty much being in my face, I'm going to ride you around Silver Lake here, just the northern edge of it, kind of going from the east side to the west side. Old marsh grass out there. I lived here at Silver Lake. I lived right down the Hall Road there. Lived there for quite a while. And man, all the pictures I take from up here, man, the massive trips up to Mount St. Helens. It's really quick to get to St. Helens from here. but look how calm that water is out there. That is impressive. And if I can, I'll try to turn you towards St. Helens there. The trees have grown so much that it's hard to see her now. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do it for very long without running you off the road. You can see her back there. You might be able to see a reflection in the water, possibly. Pretty risky doing this driving down the road, because I literally have to turn my head away from the road to do it. But, ooh, look at this. Yeah, what I was going to say is since I turned off, I've encountered several distinctly icy spots. And right before I went across the Toutle River Bridge into the town of Toutle, a deer and a young one, all I see is a silhouette of them. The road's icy as I'm approaching it, and they come stepping out into the road in front of me. That was really, really, really interesting to try to stop. And it was definitely frozen, because when I touched the brakes, got that godforsaken ABS kickback from it. But the bike handled well. It didn't do anything weird. But I gotta say, the ABS really freaked me out. Because, you know, you spend all these years riding motorcycles, and now you have something interacting. Like on a Spider, when the ABS kicks in, it's just the same as like when you're driving your car, you know. It's all being controlled by your foot. This is something you're used to, you know. On a motorcycle, you know, it's all about balance and feel and everything else. Well, suddenly that's taken from you. That's a gut-wrenching feeling there for a moment. But it did its job. I got to give it 100% kudos for that. Because otherwise I could have locked the wheel up, and, you know, depending on how slippery it is, if the wheel takes even a few fractions of a second to get rolling again, if that wheel is not turning at the speed that it's rolling across the road for any distance of time, that's the equivalent of locking up your brakes. So there you have it. Well, I made it up and over the hill. I waited till I turned off at Spirit Lake Highway because the sun was like blazing in my face. But I tell you what, I'm going to have to take a rubber mallet and knock the mohawk out of the seat of this thing. I made it safely over I forgot there's like two little spots in there. But the one's the peak, but when you come across the peak, you drop down and it's shaded all the way down. Then you come across another peak by a Chevron station, and yeah, that was probably the dumbest thing I've done in a long time. That was not comfortable at all. And people passing me seriously have to question my sanity. I have to question my sanity. What the hell am I doing? You realize how expensive it would be to drop this thing? It would be horrifying. And then, of course, Murphy's Law at work, as I'm snaking my way through there, it was like a parade just let off, or a floodgate just opened. The cars passing me, one right after another. Of course, you know, you're sweeping through a right-hand turn, and you go down, you're going to slide right into an oncoming car. So I had that in the back of my head freaking me out the whole time, too. Let's pull over on the bridge here. The last time I took you out here, we were right in the middle of Flood Central. Oh my God, it altered the path of that gravel out there. Look, it cut a new route in the middle of it. It used to be all the way out against the bank and coming around. And this was a huge beach all the way out there. The flood was so bad, it cut a new trough in there. And you can tell by the flow of the water, that's the path of least resistance. So that thing's deep. Well, that sucks. All that beach area that them people used to play on. This beach thing went all the way around. It's huge. Man, the power of hydraulics is shocking, to say the least. That looks, oh, it's a reflection from that sign. Wow, that was hitting the road in a way. It looked like a little icy patch. Oh, it's so freaking beautiful. beautiful out here. Let's do a quick... Oh, there's frozen leaves there. I'm not going to stop. She ain't so clear no more, is she? Oh, I smell somebody's fire out here. That smells so good. Well, here we've looped around and are now facing Mount Rainier once again, which hopefully by some miracle you can see. You can't see it now. It's directly behind that huge dirt mound right there. She'll pop out on the other side right now. I know in super view, if you see it at all, it'll just be a little tiny white speck, but if you could see it through my eyes, I don't know if that's frozen or not. But anyway, I can't go on this ride and not take you by the cedar mill if I don't slip going up this hill. Doesn't appear to be frozen. So any of you guys with the Project Rushmore Harleys, I have to look in the book, but I could have swore, and maybe I'm thinking of something else, but I thought I could have swore the GPS would keep your clock on the bike set, and it almost seems like I've seen that somewhere. But maybe there's a setting somewhere. The time never switched out of daylight savings time, so it's showing it's 4:59 now, which is actually 3:59. But that's very odd. I could have swore it was self-adjusting, because it seems like I even remember thinking, well, shit, I'll have one bike that, you know, will always have the right time. You know, because all the other bikes, I just leave them in daylight savings time, because I hardly ride in the winter anyway, so why go through the hassle of adjusting the clock? Because our riding season here between daylight, switching back to standard time and going back to daylight savings time pretty much equals the amount of time that's not riding weather. So I don't mess with it. And then, as you can see in the shop, I don't spend as much time out in the shop in the winter either. So and I just always know that you know, in the wintertime, that one's an hour fast. Ryan or nobody else messes with it either, so it just kind of stays on daylight savings time. Well, that's all dry back here. Man, does it feel good to get on the street glide. Very, very nice. And the last, you know, I've ridden the DR and I've ridden the Iron, and there's, you know, the Iron has a little bit of wind protection from the little quarter fairing on there, and the DR, you know, I have to give it some credit. It does have protection on your chest. That number plate that it has on it above the headlight, it does block off your chest, but it hits you square in the face. So basically, you know, from the top of your shoulders, you know, down to your waistline is pretty much getting some wind blockage. But man, you get up at speed, like going down the freeway, going 75, 80 miles an hour down the freeway, and you almost don't realize that number plate's there. And the Iron, you know, it kind of does the same thing, but it's a little higher, you know, the amount of air that it blocks. But both of those, you know, other than that little bit of pressure that's off of your torso, you are fully out in the weather. I mean, your hands freeze, your legs freeze. You know, this thing, well, this one would do the same thing with my legs. You get a little protection because of the fairing, but man, the combination of that fairing and those soft lowers, I ended up paying full retail. It was like 90 bucks or whatever it was for those things. But they're just nylon covers to go over your engine guards. That's the best money I've ever spent. Can't believe how well that works. and how well it did in the rain. You know, when I got caught in the rain with my Road King on the trip to Yosemite, or not Yosemite, but to St. George, Zion and all that. I was going through, I don't know if it's because I'm stuffed up or what, but oh, there it goes. Wow, that's not very intense though. I think it's just because I'm cold and my nose is plugged up because of the cold. Usually the smell gets my attention and it distracts me, but I'm like halfway past the cedar mill and I go, hey, wait a minute, there's a cedar mill. Now, these little patches in here can be quite frozen. So anyway, yeah, my old tradition here of signing off, going down State Route 505. I'm going to do it yet again today. So this will be the last ride of 2015. I'll never ride a motorcycle again in the year 2015. This will be it. And hope you guys had a fantastic year. I hope you have the greatest hopes and ambitions for 2016. I sure do. I always have. I'm the most optimistic to a fault. I'm optimistic. But anyway, as we're going through this icy stuff, I want to wish you guys a very happy new year. And I wish you all the best for 2016. And I can't thank you enough for all the subs and followers and likes and comments and stuff you guys done this year. Fantastic. Fantastic. You guys are awesome. Love you to death. But I need to get off of here while I'm driving through this icy stuff. So we'll talk to you later now. Thank you very, very much. Bye-bye now.